Call to order the June 12th meeting of the Cary Town Council. And at this time, I'll recognize Councilmember Bush for our ceremonial opening.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. As we come together this week, I'd like to highlight an upcoming event that is this month. And for those of you who might not know, on June 19th, we celebrate Juneteenth. And Juneteenth is celebrated traditionally on the 19th, but we'll be celebrating it here in Cary on the 21st. It actually became about on 1865, which is 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. And it's when the Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas, again, 2 years after all of the enslaved people were already made free, to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation, finally freeing all of those who are now free after President Lincoln signed the proclamation. So this day is a powerful reminder of our nation's journey towards justice and equality, and it's a time to honor the strength and resilience and dignity of all of those who came before us. So you might also be aware that on 2021, it was made a federal holiday. And in keeping with Cary's cultural and diverse and important way that we celebrate all of our very many community members, we also will be giving our employees, and our town offices will be closed on to recognize Juneteenth. And June 21st at the downtown Cary Park, we'll be gathering for music and poetry, food and fun, food trucks, of course, because that's the best way to celebrate any holiday with food, and activities that remind us of the joy and the hope that Juneteenth brings, and for all of us standing together. And it's really moments like these that bring out the best of Cary, the best of our entire community, and I hope that you all will join us at the downtown Cary Park to celebrate. And with that, I ask you that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. First order of business tonight is to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to recognitions, reports, and presentations. I'm going to start off on a sad note. We received information of the passing of Charlie Gaddy. So if you're a longtime resident in Cary, you know who that person was. He was an anchor at WRAL for decades, and he was actually called the Walter Cronkite. A lot of people don't even know who that is. The Walter Cronkite of Cary. And so it's with sadness that we announce his passing, and we hope he rests in peace, and condolences to his family and friends. We have some good news to celebrate. We have a scout in our audience who's working on his first class scout rank from Troop 216. Henry, would you stand up and be recognized? Okay. The next recognition, I would like to invite Human Relations Inclusive and Diversity Advisory Board Chair, Jess McDonald, to meet Councilmember Bush at the podium. Sorry, I'm stumbling through that.
All right. It's Pride Month. Yay. So designating June 2025 as LGBTQIA plus Pride Month in Cary. Whereas the month of June is widely recognized as LGBTQIA plus Pride Month, a time dedicated to acknowledging, celebrating, and reflecting on the significant impact and contributions of the LGBTQIA plus community worldwide. And whereas Cary is dedicated to fostering a diverse, equitable, inclusive, safe, and welcoming workplace and community where everyone feels valued and supported and empowered to be their true and best selves. Our diversity strengthens us and adds to the vibrant tapestry that makes Cary a wonderful place to live, work, play, and raise a family. And whereas Cary has established and approved the transition of the Human Relations, Inclusion, and Diversity Task Force to an official advisory board whose mission is to improve the quality of life and a sense of belonging in our community by making data-informed decisions, creating a broader access, encouraging equitable treatment, and promoting mutual understanding and respect amongst all people. And whereas over the years, Cary has furthered its commitment to providing inclusive services to the LGBTQIA+ community with our participation in the Human Rights Campaign Municipal Equality Index, and with the adoption of the Non-Discrimination Resolution and Policy. Adoption and participation in both of these initiatives, Cary is intent on removing barriers that prevent individuals from reaching their full potential and being their truest and best selves. And whereas our community will celebrate Pride Month in Cary with a Pride in the Park picnic, along with other events including the Pride History Harvest, Pride Pop-Up Course, oh, I can't wait for that, Pride Cary Night, it's tonight? Pride Cary Night Market, Allies and Icons Pride Film Festival, art exhibits and classes, Downtown Pride Light Show, and Family Pride Ride. And now, therefore, I, Lori Bush, on behalf of the entire Cary Town Council and our Mayor, Harold Weinbrecht, do proclaim the month of June 2025 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in Cary in celebration of diversity, unity, freedom, and acceptance, and reaffirming our support and building on progress towards a better, more inclusive, more welcoming, and safer Cary for all. Would you like to say a few words?
I would love to say something. Thank you. And Mayor, I'm going to use the acronym because it's easier that way. Thank you, Mayor and Council members, for this Pride Proclamation. I'm honored to accept it on behalf of the HRID Advisory Board and the citizens of the town of Cary. Trans and queer people exist and have always existed. They are woven into the fabric of our country and communities past, present, and future. On a fundamental level, trans and queer rights are human rights, and human rights are fundamental to our democracy. To all Cary and North Carolina residents who belong to the LGBTQIA+ community, you are an integral and cherished part of who we are. Your contributions, your innovation, your stories, your resilience, and simply just your presence make our town stronger and more vibrant. As a mother and educator in this community, while I regularly see our differences, I find myself concluding that ultimately we are all much more the same. And what binds us together is more important than what divides us. I see daily how much we all crave to feel seen and know that we belong. This isn't unique to any one group, it's profoundly human. To my fellow Cary citizens, let us continue to foster that belonging. Let us continue to be good trees that produce good fruit, to love our neighbors as ourselves, to plant seeds in gardens that we will not see bloom, and to ensure everyone in our community is seen and celebrated for exactly who they are. This proclamation isn't just a document, it's a commitment that Cary will remain a place where all people and families can thrive, contribute, and feel honored to call home. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to the entire HRID group for all they do. In case you don't know, this is just one dimension of everything they're working on. Their core value is to make everyone equal. That's what it's all about. And y'all do incredible work. It's an incredible board, and it's just fun to listen in. I usually listen into those meetings, and Laurie can attest, I'll sit there for an hour and a half and won't say a word because it's that fascinating, some of the stuff that you talk about and the stuff you work on. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all you do. Okay, I'll turn it over to the town manager for his update.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to recognize and congratulate everyone who created another amazing experience for our citizens, our visitors, coaches, and players at the Wake Med Soccer Park for the soccer tournament. There was record-breaking attendance of 51,730, up from 41,000 last year, and 8 women's teams, which was double the number from 2024. While TST was certainly our most well-known event, literally global, over the 10 days from May 30th to June 9th, Cary not only hosted TST, but also the NCAA Division II Baseball World Series at USA Baseball National Training Complex and the Cary Cup at Thomas Brooks Park, Middle Creek Park, and Pleasant Park in Apex. Each of these tournaments offered amazing opportunities for our community, and each made a strong contribution to Cary's national brand identity, not to mention the direct economic benefit to our hotels, restaurants, and other businesses. These events, especially when occurring nearly concurrently, draw from nearly every department at Town Hall, including Parks and Recreation, Public Works, but also police, fire, IT, legal, finance, and even the town manager's office. It is truly an all-hands-on-deck effort to perfectly execute such a wide variety of multi-day events. And our staff does this by keeping our core day-to-day services moving along, like solid waste collection, building safety inspections, police patrols, and fire protection. Cary is an incredible place in large measure because of the incredible people I'm privileged to work for every day as my colleagues, and I'm grateful to them and to you, Council, for the opportunity to be Cary's town manager. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Stiegel. And just to echo, I was at the TST for the semifinals and finals, and you had staff members coming over that had done USA Baseball and coming over doing TST, or at least were there. Some were talking, well, when asked, some hadn't had sleep in forever, and this went on for days and days. But it's so huge for our community. Just the TST alone last year, it was estimated to have generated $15 million in economic benefit, and the tournament this year was much bigger. And on top of that, all of that, on a personal note, I finally got to see a 2-on-2, and that ended the men's match was a bender around the one player left for the tournament. So if you just are okay with soccer, you've got to see TST, because that ratchets it up 2 or 3 more levels. It is so much fun. So coming back next year, right, John? We'll see. All right. Thank you. All right, we now go to our next item, Public Speaks Out. We've included instructions for speaking at this forum online and on the printed agenda. There were 3 opportunities to participate in Public Speaks Out through written comments, by calling in, or by attending here in person this evening. If you are here in person and would like to speak, I would ask that you please take a seat in one of the rows to my right that are highlighted. Public Speaks Out speakers have 3 minutes each for their comments, and you may speak on any topic as long as it's not a public hearing, and that's to your benefit because public hearing speakers get more time. The 3-minute time limit will be enforced, not to be rude, but to be fair to all of our speakers. We have a timer on the podium. It'll start off with a green light, and when it turns yellow, that means you have 30 seconds remaining, and when it flashes red, that's when I'm going to interrupt you. Again, not trying to be rude, but trying to be fair to all of our speakers. I would ask that all of our speakers be respectful in their comments and direct comments to the entire council and not to one individual. And I thank everyone in the audience for understanding that this is a business meeting. Please respect that, and please do not applaud, make remarks from your seats, use props, or anything else that may distract from the meeting. So now is the time for Public Speaks Out, and first I'll call on our clerk to read any written comments and call on any registered speakers.
We had 2 written comments and no registered speakers. Amy Hewitt expressed concerns about potential future rezoning at 106 Sherwood Forest Place. After seeing surveyors on site, they were told the property may be rezoned for office and daycare use, which they feel is inappropriate for a residential area. They also were concerned about a lack of notification to nearby homeowners. Janet Littlejohn sent a Facebook link with no other comments, and the subject of the email was Greening of Our World, and that link has been provided to you electronically.
Okay, so now is the time for Public Speaks Out, and if you are here and would like to speak at Public Speaks Out, now's your opportunity, and I would invite you forward. Anyone to speak at Public Speaks Out? Seeing no one, I'll close Public Speaks Out, and we'll move to the consent agenda portion of tonight's meeting. For the benefit of people watching our meeting on TV, I'll take a moment to review the consent agenda items. Please keep in mind that one vote approves all of these items. On the consent agenda, we have resolution for new installment purchase debt, call for a public hearing for 25A05 Macedonia Walnut Street annexation and 25A01 Highcroft Ridge townhouses. Minutes. Would council member like any of these items pulled for discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And that takes us to public hearings. Same rules apply for public hearings that apply for Public Speaks Out, with one exception. Speakers now have 5 minutes each for their comments. Our first and only public hearing is the budget public hearing on the recommended fiscal year 2026 budget. Budget Manager Liam Braley will present this item, and council will not take action on this item this evening. The budget is scheduled to return for council approval on June 26th.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm excited to be here tonight to hold the second of 2 public hearings on the FY 2025 recommended budget. Let's take a big picture look at the numbers behind the FY 26 budget. The total budget, operating and capital combined, is $508.03 million. This is up 2.1% from this year's budget. $418.5 million of the total budget supports the operating budget, which is up 9.9% when compared to this year. This increase is due to increases in operational costs to provide current services. The remaining $89.6 million supports capital improvement projects identified for the year. This is a 23.2% decrease from the current year. The decline is due largely to decreases in downtown and transportation appropriations. This budget has a primary focus on maintaining existing services and infrastructure. It includes limited capital expenditures on critical capital maintenance and no capital improvements. Additionally, it does not recommend any new positions or service level expansions. The FY 2026 recommended budget includes the proposed tax rate of 34 cents, with 1 penny equaling $5.3 million. This is an increase of 1.5 cents over the current year tax rate of 32.5 cents. The solid waste fee is proposed to increase by $2 to $25 per month, with a cost recovery rate of 96%. Consistent with our long-term financial model for the utility, there is a 4% increase in the utility rate, which is to cover increased costs necessary to provide the safe drinking water that we enjoy, environmentally responsible wastewater collection and treatment, infrastructure renewal programs, and equipment. Council started budget discussions at the budget work session and retreat in February, and staff recommended a budget based on your input on May 1st. We continued our budget discussions at the work session on May 20th and our first public hearing on May 22nd. Cary has the second budget public hearing tonight, June 12th, followed by adoption on June 26th. We have made several avenues for citizens to provide input on the budget, including social media, 3-on-1, council media meetings, and public hearings. As a reminder, our remaining key date is the council adoption of the budget on June 26th. At this time, we'll open up the floor for the public hearing. Following the public hearing, I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Liam. Before we begin the public hearing, well, now's the time for the public hearing on the budget, and I'll call on the clerk for any written comments and recognize any registered speakers.
We had 2 written comments and no registered speakers. Jennifer McEwen shared appreciation for the work of staff and council, stating that Cary is the only place they've lived where they truly see their taxes benefiting the community. They thanked everyone for their hard work and intentional efforts to make Cary a great place to live. Mary Collins expressed strong concern about rising property taxes and lack of transparency in Cary's budgeting process, particularly citing the high operating costs of the downtown park and the use of marketing and PR spending. They criticized council for unanimous votes and insufficient discussion and urged a more cost-effective approach to serving residents. And no registered speakers.
Okay, if you're here in the audience and would like to speak at this public hearing on the budget, now's your opportunity, and I would invite you forward. Anyone to speak at this public hearing? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. And again, just as a reminder, it'll return to council at our June 26th meeting for approval. We now move into discussion items. We have a resolution to rename a portion of Green Level West Road, excuse me, to High House Road. Principal Planner Aaron Puckett will present the item, and council may approve or disapprove this action. Ms. Puckett.
Thank you, and good evening, council. Before you this evening is the resolution to rename a portion of Green Level West Road to High House Road. You held a public hearing on this item in November of 2024, and the decision to rename was deferred at that time to allow for consideration of any feedback received at the hearing, and you may make a decision tonight. As a reminder, staff first presented an overview of the entire Green Level West Road corridor to council in March of 2023. To rename the entirety of Green Level West Road and Green Level Road, coordination and action would be required from multiple jurisdictions. As shown on this map, portions of the corridor run through Wake County, the town of Apex, and Chatham County. Following discussion and consideration of the various segments along the corridor, council directed staff to proceed with investigating the feasibility of renaming the segment indicated by the pink line on this map between NC 55 and Green Level Church Road. This segment requires coordination only with Wake County. Renaming additional portions of the corridor to the west, should this be explored in the future, would require additional coordination with and approval from Apex and Chatham County. There are 43 properties located along the subject segment of the corridor. Some of these are currently undeveloped, and approximately 28 do have existing street addresses that would be subject to readdressing if the name is changed. Following the feasibility study presented to council in March of 2023, staff focused on the segment of Green Level West Road under consideration for renaming tonight. We reached out to property owners along the corridor last summer and held a virtual meeting for anyone interested in sharing feedback on the proposal. We presented that feedback as part of the public hearing presentation in November of last year, and it was also included in your staff report for this evening. If council votes to rename the subject segment of Green Level West Road, staff will coordinate with Wake County on the timing of a public hearing with their Board of Commissioners. Wake County's board must also approve the renaming before any street name changes may go into effect, and will not hold a public hearing until Cary's council takes action. If Wake County also votes to approve the renaming, staff would then coordinate with the relevant internal and external departments to finalize the sign replacement schedule. Staff would also notify impacted property owners about readdressing and the effective date of the new road name. Notification of the renaming will also be sent to relevant Cary departments, third-party agencies, and utilities. With that all being said, we anticipate the road name would go into effect in early 2026. This allows staff time to fabricate signage and alert corridor property owners, as well as align the effective date as closely as possible with the highway signage updates. Due to lead times with highway sign fabrication, this can take several months. Regarding the sign replacement, staff has included $85,000 in the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget to update highway and roadway signage in the Green Level West area, with the majority of that cost associated with the highway signs. The NCDOT Turnpike Authority will fabricate and install highway signage, while Cary's Public Works Department would be responsible for street signage along Green Level West Road. In addition to signage costs, staff recommend providing $300 to property owners along the corridor who are subject to readdressing, as has been practiced with other recent road renamings, to help defray the costs associated with readdressing their property. Tonight, staff recommends council adopt the resolution renaming the portion of Green Level West Road extending between NC 55 and Green Level Church Road to High House Road. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I would open it up to council members for their questions, comments.
I just want to say that this is probably the last time I'll ever get to remind everyone that Green Level West Road is actually east of Green Level.
Green Level West Road still will be east of Green Level Road.
It'll just be,
It's the other
there's
segment.
this tiny little.
Yeah, it's the other segment. No,
So if we can fix that, I can do it
Yeah.
even longer.
Yeah, you can do it
This
longer.
portion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been talking about this so long that we were talking about this before Highway 540 was built.
Yep.
And I really regret that we had not done it. If I had known that they were going to stamp in concrete the name of the road.
Who
you
knew?
know, Yeah, who knew? So anyway, yeah, it's just a long time coming.
Other comments, questions? Or are we ready for a
There was
motion?
a conversation last time when this was presented on 540, it was engraved right on the highway. What are we doing, what are we going to do about that?
It's a great question. So with the preliminary information that the Turnpike Authority provided to us, their opinion at this point is that that name would stay until we had a project in the area. However, should this be approved this evening, Cary staff will be continuing conversations with the Turnpike Authority to see if we can investigate any alternatives.
Meaning nothing.
Would that create confusion, you think?
No, it's just, I mean,
Or that will be a souvenir?
you'll have to assume, you have to have your vote assuming that it will just remain that way, because we can only persuade them, and maybe there will be a big project, but that might not occur, and so.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt the attached resolution renaming the portion of Green Level West Road extending from NC 55 to Green Level Church Road to High House Road.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That concludes the regular agenda. We have no closed session, so I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.